MCAS results now include growth data in addition to performance data, allowing educators to redefine how we think about student performance. In the past, MCAS data showed us only how individual students were achieving relative to state standards. With growth measures, we can now view progress in an individual student's achievement relative to students with similar testing histories. Click each of the on-screen questions to learn more about these reports. Growth data gives us a way to measure progress for all students, regardless of their performance level on the state assessment. This information can provide evidence of improvement even for the lowest achieving students. Growth measures also give high-achieving students and schools something to strive for beyond proficiency. Because growth is a measure of progress, growth data allows educators to better explore what types of programs, instruction, or interventions work best for different types of students. Edwin Analytics contains a pair of reports to assist you in analyzing growth data. Hover over the report names for a brief description of each, or click the name to learn more about what's in the report. You can choose to run your report by selecting either the course or the teacher. Either choice will result in the same report with one minor difference. If you select Course, you can choose to view data from multiple teachers who teach that course. If you select Teacher, you can choose to view data from multiple courses that the selected teacher teaches. Continue making selections by choosing the enrollment time period, district, school, teacher, term, and grade level. You will need to select the MCAS test information and report layout that you want to see. Note that if you select MCAS test information for a year or subject that does not correspond to the teacher or course you selected, your report will not show any student data. To view the report, select Submit. The report will display the teacher's name, the grade level, and the school year and term in which the class was taught. It also includes the number of students enrolled and tested in the class, and their MCAS score information for the test date, subject, and grade level you selected. If you selected a grade level that has an MCAS test in the preceding grade, your report will also show a median growth score for your students who took both tests. You can hover your mouse over the bars in the chart to see the percent for each. When you click the link for the number of students in selection, you'll go directly to the classroom roster, PE 617, and will be able to see a list of the students in that class. The report displays each student's SAS ID, grade level, course level, credits available and earned, enrollment status, letter mark, and number mark. When you click on the Number of Students Tested link, you'll go directly to the MCAS Classroom Items Analysis roster, IT 616, and can see item-by-item results for the students in that class. This report displays each test question and each student's response. You can see which questions students got right or wrong, how many points a student received for any open response questions, and their raw and scaled scores for that test. To view the MCAS Achievement and Growth by Classroom report, select the group of students you want to analyze from the Select Classrooms menu and their corresponding MCAS test information. Then, choose if you want to see a detailed table with the report. Note that if you select MCAS test information for a year or subject that does not correspond to the classroom you selected, your report will not show any student data. When you've made all your selections, click Submit. This report shows a scatter plot, with each dot representing the course sections you selected. It allows you to see the percentage of students who scored proficient or higher, combined with that group's median student growth scores. It's also easy to see how the different classrooms compare to each other. You can hover over each dot to learn more information about that group of students. Colored dots in the upper right quadrant of the chart are in the ideal location of both high performance and high growth. Also, if you opted to include page detail from the report layout prompt, then you'll be able to see a table representing this data when you select the Page Down link. Click on a report name to learn how to use it in your inquiry into MCAS growth distribution data. Before you look too closely at this report, it's a good idea to identify some guiding questions that can focus your analysis. Naturally, you'll want these questions to reflect your own interests and concerns, but you can use the questions shown here to get started. For example, if you are a teacher, you might want to know how a group of students in your class has performed on the MCAS test. By selecting different MCAS subjects for the same group of students, you can look at the resulting CPI, percent of students who are proficient, and median SGP to determine what subject or subjects that group of students is struggling with the most. Click the information icons to learn more about CPI and SGP. The variety of metrics the MCAS Achievement and Growth by Teacher report offers can be used to help you focus classroom instruction. For deeper analysis, you can click through to the MCAS Classroom Items Analysis roster by clicking one of the numbers in the Students Tested column. The IT 616 report provides a detailed snapshot of student performance on each question for that specific MCAS assessment, and can help you see how individual students are performing on each question and standard. Before you look too closely at this report, it's a good idea to identify some guiding questions that can focus your analysis. Naturally, you'll want these questions to reflect your own interests and concerns, but you can use the questions shown here to get started. For example, you might want to know how different classrooms' performance on the MCAS and growth from the previous year compare to each other. You can use this scatter plot to see the percent of students who achieved proficient or higher, and their median growth scores to compare different classes to each other. You can easily identify similar-sized classrooms by the size of the dots to see how similar classrooms to yours have performed. It might be useful to identify classrooms that show high growth, even if they have low performance, to further research strategies or programs that the teacher in that classroom has implemented in the past year. Once you've fully explored these reports and analyzed the data you found there, you'll want to plan next steps. From the Achievement and Growth Analysis by Teacher report, you might want to look at the Classroom Items Analysis roster, IT 616, and other MCAS data to understand more about how your students performed on different standards and types of assessment items. You may also be interested in analyzing achievement and growth reports in Edwin Analytics at the state, district, and school levels. There are also many other reports in Edwin Analytics on the District and School tab under the Achievement Analysis section that you could view to gain more information about student achievement and growth in your school and district that can be helpful in long-range planning for curriculum and instruction. You'll certainly want to click the on-screen link to access a wealth of growth-related information on the ESE's website. Among other resources, you'll find videos that explain growth model basics and guides to understanding student growth percentiles. Finally, the District Analysis and Review Tools, or DARTs, are excellent resources to help you assess data over time with graphs and charts, and explore comparisons between districts and schools on a number of additional data points, including data about assessments and achievement gaps. You can look at the Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment report to compare your district's MCAS performance over time to other districts or the state.